This video is intended only to supplement the written installation instructions that accompanied your product, not to replace those installation instructions. The written installation instructions should be read and available to you before you attempt to install the product. If you have any questions about the instructions in this video or are not comfortable performing the installation demonstrated, contact manufacturer's customer service. Before you begin the refrigerator installation, confirm that the appliance will be located in a well-ventilated area with temperatures above 55 degrees Fahrenheit and below 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Allow for at least 1 inch of space behind the refrigerator and at least a ½ inch of space at the side of the appliance and at the top. The hinge side may require at least 2 inches of space to allow both doors to fully open. The electrical supply for the appliance must be 115 volts at 60 Hz. A dedicated circuit is recommended. A cold water supply with water pressure between 30 and 120 pounds per square inch is required to operate the ice maker and water dispenser, if applicable. Depending on the width of the doorway, you may need to remove the doors to move the refrigerator into the home. With the power cord unplugged, remove the hinge cover, if applicable, and use a 5/16 inch socket or nut driver to unthread the 3 screws securing the top hinge. Support the freezer door as you lift off the hinge. Now lift the freezer door off of the center hinge and set it aside. Remove the washer from the hinge pin. Use a 5/16 inch wrench and the socket or nut driver to unthread the 3 screws securing the center hinge. Support the refrigerator door as you detach the hinge and remove the washer. You can now lift the refrigerator door off of the bottom hinge. Be aware the bottom hinge pin may become detached. If you would prefer the doors to open to the left instead of the right, you can reverse the doors. First unthread the 4 screws securing the bottom hinge. Detach the hinge. Use the provided removal tool to detach the 2 caps on the left side of the frame. Next, remove the 2 screws and washers. Now align the bottom hinge on the left side, then thread and tighten the 4 screws to secure. Use the screws, washers, and caps to fill and cover the screw holes on the right side of the frame. Next, use a Phillips head screwdriver to unthread the screw, securing the doorstop to the bottom of the refrigerator door. Align the doorstop on the left side of the door and secure it with the screw. You should transfer some of the grease from the right hinge hole in the doorstop to the left hole. Next, unthread the handle screws from the freezer door. Now move the freezer door stop from the right side of the door to the left side. Transfer some of the grease to the appropriate hinge hole. Next, remove the handle screws from the top of the refrigerator door on the left side. Unthread the filler screws from the right side of the door and thread them into the holes on the left side. You will now need to transfer the hinge hole plug on the top of the refrigerator door from the left side to the right side. Do the same for the hinge hole plug on the freezer door. Now transfer the door handle hole plug on the front of the refrigerator door from the right side to the left. Next, remove the 3 caps from the left side of the frame, along with the screws and washers. Use the screws, washers, and caps to fill and cover the screw holes on the right side of the frame. Confirm that the bottom hinge pin is inserted into the appropriate hole in the hinge, and the washer is intact on the pin. Now position the refrigerator door on the hinge pin. Slide the washer over the lower portion of the center hinge pin and insert the pin into the hole on the top of the refrigerator door. Hold the door in place as you realign the center hinge on the left side of the frame and secure it with the screws. Remove the hinge screw hole plugs from the top left side of the appliance and move them to the right side. Confirm the washer is on the upper portion of the center hinge pin and reposition the freezer door. With the spacer intact, realign the top hinge and secure it with the screws. If the freezer and refrigerator doors look uneven, you can loosen the top hinge screws to realign the doors. There should be a 3/4 inch gap between the 2 doors. With the doors aligned, tighten the hinge screws. If applicable, replace the top hinge cover. Now align the refrigerator door handle on the door and secure the handle loosely with the 3 screws. Confirm that the handle is straight, then tighten all 3 screws. Snap on the screw cover. Repeat this procedure to install the freezer door handle. You can use the provided template to help align the brand badge on the freezer door. Ideally, the badge will cover the alternate door handle screw hole. If a water supply line and shutoff valve are not already available in the home, you will need to install them. With the cold water supply shut off, use a 1/4-inch drill bit to drill an access hole through the front of the nearest cold water supply pipe. File down any rough edges. Now thread the shutoff valve into the front pipe bracket and tighten by hand. Use a wrench to turn the valve an additional 1/8 turn to fully secure. Slide the rubber seal gasket over the shutoff valve's pilot tube. Insert the pilot tube into the hole in the water pipe. Position the rear pipe bracket, then insert the screws through the brackets and thread on the mounting nuts. Avoid over-tightening the nuts. After ensuring the end of the copper tubing is cut evenly and cleanly, slide on a compression nut and a compression sleeve. Now fully insert the tubing into the outlet connector on the shutoff valve. Thread and hand tighten the compression nut. Use a wrench to tighten the nut one additional turn. Make sure the opposite end of the tubing is cut evenly and cleanly. With the cold water supply turned on, rotate the T-handle on the shutoff valve counterclockwise to fully open and flush out the copper tubing. After a few seconds, shut off the valve and clear the tubing of water. Slide a strain relief clamp over the copper tubing. Now slide on the compression nut and the compression sleeve. Remove the protective cap from the inlet fitting on the water inlet valve. Now fully insert the tubing into the water inlet connector. Thread and hand tighten the compression nut. Then use a wrench to tighten the nut one additional turn. Open the shutoff valve again and check both the shutoff valve and the water inlet valve for leakage. If any leaks appear, you can tighten the compression nut in small increments until the leakage stops. Align the strain relief clamp for the copper tubing and secure it with the appropriate rear panel screw. The excess copper tubing should be looped, allowing it to easily fold and unfold so the refrigerator can be moved without straining the connections. Warning: excessive weight hazard. Use 2 or more people to move and install refrigerator. Failure to do so can result in back or other injury. With the refrigerator as close to its final location as possible, confirm that the appliance is level from side to side. You can adjust the leveling by having an assistant help to tip the refrigerator back so you can support the front of the appliance. Rotate one or both of the leveling legs counterclockwise to raise the front of the refrigerator, or clockwise to lower the refrigerator. Remove the support and confirm that the appliance is level. Warning: electrical shock hazard. Plug into a grounded 3-prong outlet. Do not remove ground prong. Do not use an adapter. Do not use an extension cord. Failure to follow these instructions can result in death, fire, or electrical shock. Plug the refrigerator power cord into the electrical outlet. Carefully push the appliance into its proper location, and the refrigerator should be ready for use.